Every year, thousands of people, including me, my family, and some friends, complete the Murph Challenge. This workout used to be called the Memorial Day Murph. The workout is running a mile, then completing a total of 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, then running another mile. To do the full workout, you also wear a 20-pound weight vest or plate carrier. This workout is one that was regularly completed by Navy SEAL Lieutenant Michael Murphy, who was killed in Afghanistan in 2005 during Operation Red Wings. And on today's episode, From Surrounded to Savior, how Navy SEAL Lieutenant Michael Murphy turned hope into action, I'll share the story behind the workout and, more importantly, how Lieutenant Michael Murphy used the hope of saving his teammates to formulate a plan and took action to execute. But first, welcome to the Hope is Not a Plane podcast, where we address tough questions head on, face our problems, and highlight our hopes by providing actionable planning steps to improve ourselves, mind, body, and spirit. Now, let's get logged in and get locked on to this episode of the Hope is Not a Plane podcast. On June 28th, 2005, deep behind enemy lines east of Asadabad in the Hindu Kush of Afghanistan, a very committed 4-man Navy SEAL team was conducting a reconnaissance mission at the unforgiving altitude of approximately 10,000 feet. The SEALs, Lieutenant Michael Murphy, Gunner's Mate 2nd Class Dana Dietz, Sonar Technician 2nd Class Matthew Axelson, and Hospital Corpsman 2nd Class Marcus Luttrell had a vital task. The 4 SEALs were scouting Ahmad Shah, a terrorist in his mid-30s who grew up in the adjacent mountains just to the south. This is from the Murph SEAL Museum / Operation Red Wings, where they tell the full story of how Lieutenant Murphy and his team inserted, became surrounded, fought valiantly, and unfortunately, all but one, the lone survivor, Marcus Luttrell, were killed. There's a lot more to learn in the book Lone Survivor and the movie at the Murph SEAL Museum, and it should be read. We should learn more about Murphy and Dietz and Axelson and Luttrell's hearing, plus, which I'll touch on in a bit, the rescue effort where more people are lost, and then the recovery effort to bring our people home. So today I'm going to talk about the problem, the hope, the plan, the solution that it seems Lieutenant Murphy went through during one of the most awful experiences anybody can imagine, at altitude, under enemy fire. You've been hit, your friends have been hit, your teammates have been hit, you're just trying to get away. So the problem is the SEAL mission was compromised, right? When the team spotted by local nationals who presumably reported its presence to the Taliban. So now the bad guys know they're there. And there's 4 of them, and there's well more, 50 to 100 of the Taliban. But you have to have hope in this situation, right? And the hope that I believe that they possess and that we see from their actions is that the SEALs can move towards exfiltration or exit to a location and make it back to base. And if you watch the movie or read the book, they talk about they headed toward a summit, but it was a false summit. That's kind of when they get stacked in front of each other and it looks like you're headed toward one, but it's really another taller one. They didn't have good communications. But as you all know from hearing from real Navy SEALs, from the folks this movie was based on, SEALs don't quit. And they held on to that hope and they kept driving. And their plan that they executed, they fought, right, as necessary, which was a lot, and took out a lot of bad guys as much as they could for 4 guys. And then they had to escape and evade the larger force, right? As they fought, they needed to move and get away and evade them, because at some point you can't beat the numbers, even as badass as the Navy SEALs are. The solution, they bounded down mountains, which means they jumped, rolled, fell, right? As they got shot at continuously, as they got blown up. Then they fought. They tried to call for help. And that's what led to Lieutenant Michael Murphy's courageous act, in addition to just serving, being a SEAL, being there, was he went out in the open to get a signal on the satellite phone, made a call, asked for help, said, "Roger that, thank you." And then he was killed. And that call resulted in the rescue of HM2 Luttrell in the not too far future from then. And again, if you've read the book and seen the movie, you'll see that he made it to a village. He was protected by the village. He was still very injured. He was still almost killed by the Taliban. And then our people came to get him, but at a very high price. So what can we take from Lieutenant Murphy, who I'm talking about today, but the over 1 million American service men and women who have died in service to our country. I think for me, we should expect to face unexpected problems in our personal and professional lives. To expect perfection or that nothing bad's going to happen to us is just not realistic. So we need to think ahead of that. And related to that is, in the face of adversity, we should not dismiss hope, right? Rather, we should use it to fuel our minds and our bodies to move. Those 4 men moved up a mountain at altitude, which is unbelievably hard, while getting shot. Then they were shot. Then they kept moving, kept each other moving. They made plans ahead of time, but then they had to adjust on the fly while they were on the ground. And that's the thing, is don't get locked into your plan. They didn't. Hey, we tried this one thing. Let's go to secondary. Let's go to emergency. Let's go to contingency. All these kind of plans, right? Make them, though. Work through them. Work around them. Work in parallel to these challenges. And again, like I just stated, primary plans fail. Secondary plans fail. Ad hoc plans are sometimes the answer, right? As we read the situation, and program and project managers out there, you can't get locked into your plan. You can't fall in love with your plan and not be dynamic, because people make the world dynamic, and that's great. It's also something that you have to get used to. And ultimately, my fourth point, my takeaway, is sometimes we cannot solve the problem fully. Sometimes we just have to lessen the impact. As a leader, we may have to be the one to take point on risks. Lieutenant Murphy took point on the ultimate risk, risking his life. We can do so in much less impactful ways, but that help our programs, our projects. We can get in there and assemble equipment. We can move boxes. We can, show up and give people rides. Something that helps from the front. And Lieutenant Murphy did that, and so did Dietz and Axelson and Luttrell and all the people that came after him. Picking back up with the story, over the next few hours, Dietz, Axelson, Murphy would be killed. Luttrell was severely wounded, but due to Murphy's call, as I mentioned, H-47 Chinook helicopter with 8 SEALs and 8 Army Night Stalkers came to get them as a quick reaction force, and unfortunately was shot down, losing all souls on board. Over the next few weeks, Operation Red Wings 2 was launched that continued to focus on recovery of the bodies of the SEALs and the Night Stalkers that were lost during that mission. For his actions, Lieutenant Murphy received the Congressional Medal of Honor. Marcus Luttrell, the lone survivor, wrote the book, honored Murphy, Dietz, Axelson, and Luttrell's service and sacrifice. Luttrell created Team Never Quit that honors fallen American servicemen and women and the survivors. And the Murph Challenge that I mentioned that I did yesterday, which I'm feeling today, was born and is an annual tradition for thousands even beyond. It started in CrossFit, but it's well beyond that. So as we come out of the Memorial Day holiday, the call to action for all of us, I think every day, let alone once a year, is to take time to remember and honor all Americans, all of them, who sacrificed their lives, whether it was with a sword or a musket or a rifle or a Humvee on our horseback. And if you're able, if you didn't already, do some portion of the Murph, or do it the full thing, or do another hero workout. Go to crossfit.com/heroes. There are many workouts focused on honoring those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. As you get started on your exercise journey, as you remember, head to hopeisnotaplan.org. Strengthen Your Pillars number 3. You can get a discount on some supplements there. They will help keep you fit, like I've been lucky to do in my 50s now. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Hope Is Not a Plan. Go to the Hope Is Not a Plan Facebook page, Hope Is Not a Plan YouTube channel, busting through 450,000 views. Until next time, keep striving, keep hoping, and keep remembering the reason that we just had this long Memorial Day weekend. Make it an opportunity to kickstart your fitness journey. It was my catalyst years ago. And learn the story of those who gave everything for our freedom. Stay safe out there, everyone. Thank you all that were served and were lost, and the families. And I wish you all Godspeed.